Hi, my name is DJ Arnold. You could stop at 5 or 6 stores or just one. Your favorite celebrity is my prison, bitch. When it comes to horror films, I'm not a super huge fan of the genre, but I definitely enjoyed a lot of the ones that I've seen, like Hush, Hereditary, The Bye-Bye Man.
I love you so much.
Not The Bye-Bye Man. So today, I wanted to look at one movie that helped define the sub-horror genre of slasher films, A Nightmare on Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven, came out in the mid-80s and helped further revolutionize the horror genre. Due to its success, it became a franchise with 8 more films, including Freddy vs. Jason and a remake of the original in 2010, along with its own TV show that lasted 2 seasons and a comic book. This film belongs in the subgenre called slasher films. They are films dealing with a murderer who kills multiple victims with a weapon. Basically, those movies where a bunch of horny teens are alone in a camp and they get killed by someone is what that is. Speaking of which, this film is about 4 horny teenagers who are attacked and killed in their dreams by a man with a bladed glove named Freddy Krueger. See what I mean? One of those teenagers was Johnny Depp, and this film was his professional debut as an actor. The director of the film, Wes Craven, was an interesting individual. Before he created big-time films like the Nightmare franchise or the Scream series, he was a porn director. Also, he loved bird watching. Despite the creation of many Nightmare on Elm Street sequels, he wasn't the director in a majority of them. His last film was Scream 4 in 2015 before he unfortunately passed away due to a brain tumor. There are a lot of other interesting facts and tidbits that I will talk about as we dive deep into this movie. With that being said, if you're the type of person who shits themselves easily, make sure you put on your brownest pair of pants as we go through the spooktastic, bizarre 80s classic, A Nightmare on Elm Street. The film automatically starts with this slow buildup of Freddy getting ready to kill someone, and then we get this really intriguing long shot of Tina running through this boiler room. I really like it when stories just immediately start with some sort of action, rather than a slow buildup for 10 to 20 minutes. Tina is attacked by Freddy and immediately wakes up in a cold sweat. Tina notices that she has some cuts on her shirt. This establishes the major rule of Freddy Krueger: if you die in the dream, you die for real. If that were true, I would have been dead a long time ago. Afterwards, we meet our main protagonist Nancy and her boyfriend, soon-to-be Jack Sparrow, Glenn.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
It's official. I'm using that line in my wedding vows if I ever get married. But for real though, could you ever imagine if someone you barely knew just came up to you and your friends and just said that? Tina talks about her concerns with the nightmares that she's been having, so the gang decide to hang at her place for the night to keep her company.
Hello, Mom?
Hey, son, just wanted to see how you're doing.
Yeah, out here at Barry's.
Oh, okay, that's good. Wait, it's pretty noisy over there.
Noisy as
Is everything
usual.
okay?
Glad we don't live here, huh?
Glenn, what's going on?
Yeah, Aunt Eunice says hello.
I don't give a shit about her. She's a skank
Right,
bitch.
I'll call you in the morning.
After giving Glenn's mom a serious heart attack, the kids hear a strange noise outside, and turns out it's Rod. Horny as ever.
So what's going on here? An orgy or something?
Well, Rod, due to my many years of research over at, I can tell you that 3 to 4 people does in fact not make up an orgy. Those are called a threesome and a foursome, respectively. That is all. Thank you.
Don't leave me alone with this lunatic. Please, Nancy.
Are they gonna call the police? No, just gonna make out, I guess. Later on, Tina wakes up to someone calling out to her, and she goes to check it out. God damn it, why is this entire house made of rubber? Freddy shows up in front of Tina looking for a big old hug with those big old arms.
Please, God.
This is God.
Alright, it's official. God's real. There he is. This film came out, what, 1983, and we're still debating this?
Watch this.
Freddy's, not the best with social interactions, but he's got the spirit. After a bunch of chasing, Freddy eventually catches Tina and attacks her. I just love how the fact that Tina is literally dying and Rod is doing absolutely nothing about it. He's just like, Tina, no, wait, stop, what are you doing? There's blood, there's blood all over the place. This is just a mess. Nancy and Glenn come into the room only to see that Tina is dead. Afterwards, we cut to the police who believe Rod killed Tina, and Nancy's dad asks about what happened.
How can you say I don't take her death seriously?
Was that the best take they had? They couldn't have done another one? Like, it literally just sounded like she had a stroke. I have no idea what she just said. Nancy's mom tells her she shouldn't go to school because of what happened last night. But she goes anyways because taking the time to mourn the loss of your friend ain't gonna get you into Harvard. On the way, she is attacked by a shoeless Rod who is on the run from the cops.
Don't look at me like I'm some fucking fruitcake or something. I'm warning you.
How do you look at someone like they're a fruitcake? Just like, oh, what are you, some kind of fruitcake? Eventually, Rod gets caught by Nancy's dad and is taken to jail. Nancy is at school slowly dozing off, and her teacher does that cliche thing in horror films where they talk about some sort of symbolism that's related to the thread of the movie. As class goes on, Nancy sees Tina in the hallway covered in a bloody bag, so she goes to check it out because that's way more interesting than whatever is going on in here.
Tina?
Oh, sorry about that. Let me get this out of your way.
Who are you?
First off, that didn't answer her question. Second, sir, this is a Wendy's. After Nancy wakes up from her dream and notices that the burn mark is still there, she goes to visit Rod to ask for more info on who killed Tina, and she learns that Freddy has been showing up in all her friends' dreams.
Hey, you think I did it?
No.
I just love the way the door bangs super loud, just like, nah, you didn't do it. Help! He totally did it! Nancy is back at home taking a bath and, for some reason, singing Freddy's theme song. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. The song is inspired by 1, 2, buckle my shoe, and you'll hear it whenever you see those 3 little girls who play jump rope. Nancy falls asleep, and we get this probably not safe for YouTube scene of Freddy attacking Nancy. Hopefully, he's just waking her up so she doesn't drown, which, according to Nancy's mom, it happens a lot. Freddy tries to drown Nancy, and oh my god, they have a huge tub. It's gotta be at least 100 feet deep. Also, in this scene, they have a stunt double for Nancy, because actors can't do stunts. After horrifying incident number 3 of the week, Glenn comes to visit Nancy, and for some reason, he's not wearing shoes. Alright. Nancy talks to Glenn about what's been happening. She asks for his help to stay awake and to wake her up if she starts freaking out in her sleep. You can't possibly fuck this up. Nancy roams around in her dream to go check on Rod, and she sees her good old friend Tina. How you doing, buddy? Oh, whoops. Yeah, I hate it when my friends spontaneously become bugs too. Very relatable. Nancy's attacked by Freddy. Would be the perfect opportunity for Glenn to save the day, but the fucker's asleep too. Luckily, Nancy wakes up just in time. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that Johnny Depp's first major role was playing an incompetent asshole. But I'm sure he'll get his redemption later on in the film. Nancy and Glenn hurry to the police office to check on Rod. What are you doing, Step Blanket? Unfortunately, the gang were too late and Freddy kills Rod by hanging him, making it look like he killed himself. With a name like Rod, I don't blame him. A funeral is held for Rod, and I really hope this woman who seems completely unfazed about Rod's death isn't his mom, because she's just like, oh, my son died? Damn, that sucks, bro. Hey, can we get an F in the chat for my dead son? Nancy tries to explain the situation to her mom and is taken to the hospital to fix her quote-unquote sleep disorder.
Please, Nancy. Trust us. It's not you I don't trust, it's just...
I'm totally gonna cop a feel when she's asleep. They monitor her while she's asleep, looking for any abnormalities, and they talk about dreams and reality. Speaking of which, apparently an incident happened way back in the 70s that helped inspire Wes Craven to make this film. Hmong refugees who fled from war to the US were reported to have nightmares so bad they refused to go to sleep, and some of them even died in their sleep. At the time, this was known as Asian death syndrome. Speaking of nightmares, Nancy's freaking out in her sleep and pulls a sweet Exorcist reference. She's probably dreaming about what the future will be like in 37 years. When Nancy wakes up, she has Freddy's hat that she pulled from the dream. Back home, Nancy's mom begs her to stop worrying about this and go to bed. Nancy realizes that her mom knows what's going on, but she ain't spilling the beans. Heather Langenkamp is a good actor in my book, cause that is a pretty solid look of anger she's got going on right now. Now here's the thing about the parents, Nancy's mom specifically. They're basically secondary villains in this film because they get in Nancy's way several times. Even Ronnie Blakely, who plays the mom, views her role as such, an obstacle for Nancy to overcome. After talking to Glenn, Nancy heads back home to find that her house has basically turned into a medieval dungeon.
Mother!
Wow, what a badass way to enter your house. It's just like, Mother, I demand we have chicken nuggies for dinner. A meal fit for a king such as I. And the badassery doesn't stop there as the mom just casually strolls on up and lights a cigarette. She tells Nancy to come downstairs to the basement to tell her a secret she's been obviously hiding. She reveals she actually knew a guy named Fred Krueger who was a child murderer. So the parents found him in an abandoned boiler room and burned it to the ground, killing Freddy.
He's dead, honey, because Mommy killed him.
That is the most disturbing thing and somehow oddly satisfying thing a mother could ever say to their child. This scene tells us a lot, both about the character Freddy Krueger and some interesting facts about the making of this movie. The way Freddy Krueger died explains all the burn marks he has, and whenever the kids see him, it's in a boiler room. Also, interesting fact about Freddy Krueger, he was inspired by two people. The concept of Freddy came from when Wes Craven was little and an elderly man was watching him from his house. Also, the name Freddy Krueger actually comes from a bully Wes Craven had in school by the same name. So the lesson here is, don't bully filmmakers or they will make you an iconic villain in their movies. Lastly, the dialogue in this film was changed. Originally, Freddy Krueger was intended to be a child diddler, if you catch my drift, but it was changed because Wes Craven didn't want to come off as exploiting many child molestation cases going on in California during the making of this film. Nancy and Glenn talk, and once again she asks for his help to wake her up so she can pull Freddy out the dream like she did the hat. Nancy tries to call Glenn to get ready, but Glenn's dad stops that from happening because he doesn't like her. Like I said, the parents are the secondary villains in this film. Unfortunately for Glenn, he falls asleep and is killed by Freddy, who spills his anime levels of blood all over the room. Quick little film trivia. When they shot this scene, they used over 500 gallons of fake blood. Man, the cleanup must have been a bitch. The cops show up to investigate, and Nancy talks to her dad, saying she's going to get the guy who did this. Before Nancy goes to sleep, she prepares a bunch of traps for Freddy. Also, can I just say how awesome of a character Nancy is? You don't see too many characters fighting back like this in horror films, especially female teenagers from the 80s. It's pretty neat. Nancy falls asleep and goes to look for Freddy in the boiler room. Eventually, Freddy attacks her and she's able to pull him into the real world. Nancy's dad comes into the house, and when Nancy goes to check for Freddy, he kills her mom. When Nancy's dad leaves the room, Freddy shows himself again. But this time, Nancy isn't scared and calls Freddy out on his bullshit, which apparently is his weakness, I guess.
You're nothing. You're shit.
Damn. Even for a child murderer, that's harsh. Once Nancy leaves the room, we're immediately taken outside on a new day. Everything's white and sunny, and it seems like the nightmare has stopped. Even her mom and friends are alive as well. Nancy gets in the car with her friends to drive off, but something's happening to the car, and the kids are taken somewhere far off. If you look at the hood of the car, it looks a lot like Freddy's shirt. Then, the girls from the beginning of the film show up again and start singing Freddy's theme song. The mom is then yoinked into the house by Freddy. ending the film. Wes Craven wanted to end the film on a note where Freddy never died, but originally he wanted Freddy to be the one physically driving the car. Luckily, his producer thought that was too cliche. And there you have it. That was the Spooktastic classic of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I can understand why this film is highly praised even today, both due to its own personal merits and its contributions to the horror genre. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's actually been a while since I made one of these types of videos, especially for a movie. But I have many more videos like these that I want to do, so look forward to those in the future. Also, if you want, I have decided to let you guys follow me on my Lastly, while you guys wait for my videos to come out, I would highly recommend you guys check out my Let's Play channel, Videoverse, with me and my buds. We play all kinds of games like Dark Souls, Spyro, Mega Man, Shadow of the Colossus, you name it. We upload twice a week and it's a bunch of fun, so check us out there. So once again, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole YouTube shebang, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!